Hello, Year 8s. Welcome to another wonderful week of Digitech. I've got a new assessment item for you. As promised, you've been learning how to use TinkerCAD and going through starters, lessons, projects to build up a skill base. And now that you've got that skill base, it's time for us to do an assessment task so that we can make a measurement of how well you have learnt this material. So, let me go through it for you. Now, this document will be saved in the same post as this video. So, CAD, Assessment Task, Year 8 Digitech. For this assessment task, you are required to either create a 3D design for the purpose of 3D printing or modify an existing design. So you may create a design from scratch or you may modify an existing design. The software you will use for your CAD work is TinkerCAD. If you plan to modify an existing design, you can source this from anywhere you like. Thingiverse.com would be my recommendation. Now, if you haven't had a look at Thingiverse, you really do need to check it out. If you open up a Google, type in Thingiverse, and click the first thing that comes up. Basically, what you end up with is a search engine for all types of open source 3D designs that people have made. So all these things here you could download and print if you like. And if you want to modify a design, then you are absolutely free to do that. Okay, so don't just download a design and give it to me and say that that's your work. That's not really what I'm looking for. But if there's something you're into and you want to make it your own, that is absolutely acceptable. Okay, so I'll give you an example of what I mean. Let's say you're right into your Nintendo and your Mario and those sorts of things. You might find something cool here. That's very cool there. That you want to make your own. And by making it your own, I mean you're going to modify it in some way. You might change the lettering, put text on it, play around with the proportions, add different shapes, all of those sorts of things. Um, you want to customize it so that it becomes your own. Now, don't choose anything too crazy or too big. So we're not looking for things that would require you to print in, say, 50 different pieces. So we don't want to print 50 pieces that you then put together. You know, we would only want to print a couple of pieces. So looking at the question mark block, that's a good option. Question mark money box. So if you wanted to modify this, it is in two pieces. So there's no hassle in printing 2 or 3 or 4 pieces. I don't want to print 44 pieces for each student though. So just bear that in mind as you are going about your creations. Sorry, buddy, I'm doing a video, so just leave me alone for the moment. Sorry about that interruption there. Okay, so if I wanted to modify this, I need to get it over to TinkerCAD. So the first thing I will do is I will download it, and it's arrived down here. I'll show that in folder. I'm going to grab that, pop it somewhere I can easily find it. Now that file won't be usable as soon as you download it. You do have to extract that. So it's got the little zip on it. That makes it a compressed file. So it's not usable until you extract it. Don't. Sorry, mate, I'm making a video. I'll be done in 2 seconds. I've got like 45 children. You've got to forgive me. Buddy, I need some space, okay? So where was I? Extracting my files. So here, I've got my coin box lid and 3 other files. I'm not too sure what they all are. I wasn't expecting 4 files. I was expecting 2. So I'll have to import those into Tinker to really have a look at what I'm dealing with. So I'll get back to TinkerCAD and I want to get to a design. Create new design. Now when you get into your TinkerCAD design workspace, design pane, you've got some options up here. So import, export, etc. So import will bring files in. Export is what you need to do once you're finished. So we'll click that button in a little while and have a look at that too. So click on import here. I'm going to choose the file, which was on my desktop. It was the Mario coin box. So we might start with the lid and we'll see how that one looks. So now I have the same file I got from Thingiverse, but I have it over here in Tinker where I can actually have a play with it. Okay, now there's certain things you wouldn't want to change on your coin box, but you might want to add some interesting shapes to it, maybe add some text to it so it's got your name on it, or you could make it as a gift. It was Mother's Day the other day. She might be into Mario. You might be able to make her a little Mario money box that she might like, that sort of thing. Okay, so you've got all the tools over here that you've learned how to use. I would expect that definitely adding text would be one thing that would be a good option to personalize something that you modify. So if you want to modify, that's absolutely fine. If you want to create something from scratch, that is absolutely fine as well. So your design will be assessed using the following criteria. So you will be judged on your creativity, technical skill, originality, and ability to format your files for use between multiple systems and platforms. So basically, if I end up with a file that I can import into Cura, that's our 3D printing software, and it works, you'll get full marks on that front. Okay, so already just now I've had to deal with files coming from Thingiverse, I've had to extract, I've had to import, and of course, I'll have to export before I hand that in. So, if you can get me a file that works, I'll be able to mark you off for your ability to format files between multiple systems and platforms because you'll have done it. So for submission, files must be the following type and be usable in Cura. So Cura is the 3D printing software that I use. It's this one. So this shows basically the printable area, and the files I need are either OBJ files or STL files. So if we jump back here, let's done some modifications for that. I'd maybe put some text on there that says Mr. Cleary and maybe added some cool shapes to the top of it or something like that. So I'd done my modification that I was happy with. I need to then export that file so that you can send it to me, and you want to send it to me through Edmodo. Now, OBJ or STL are both good. Don't use this other one, the GLB. I can't work with the GLB file, and we don't want an SVG. That's for a different piece of hardware for a laser cutter. Now, interesting to note, we do have a laser cutter at school. We got it during term 1. We haven't fully worked out how to use it just yet, but we might be doing that a bit in the future. But for now, we're dealing with either OBJs or STLs. Now, if you've got the time, send me one of each. I'm not sure. Often the OBJs will import a little bit better, but sometimes the STLs import a bit better. But you often don't know until you drag it into Cura how they look. So send me both, and I'll print the one that looks better. I'm going to grab the OBJ for now, and that has downloaded here. So I'll do the same thing I did before. Show in folder. Just giving it the classic TinkerCad interesting name. Just pop that onto my desktop quickly. Again, I'm going to have to extract that. Now, if you send me a zip, that's fine. I can extract it. As long as when I do extract it, it turns into a file that I can deal with. So I've got an OBJ file here. So that should come down to Cura, and I should have, hopefully, my coin lid. Beautiful. So that looks like it'll print beautifully. And you get a bit of information over here. That's 48 minutes worth of printing over there. These are the options we play with before we print. So you get to choose your quality. You get to play with your infill density. So this is set to 100% so that it come out as a solid piece. And for something flat and not filled in, that's probably perfect. You also get to, well, these things are default set depending on what material you're printing with. So it prints at 205 degrees Celsius, basically. That's the melting point of the material that we print with. You can play with the speed and all of those sorts of things. You can generate support if you need to. For a piece like this, you wouldn't need to generate support because it's nice and flat. That won't have any trouble sticking to the print bed. The only trouble I might have is peeling it off because it'll dry pretty hard on the print bed. But I am getting pretty good at peeling them off at this stage. So if I can get it over here into Cura, I can definitely print your work. So OBJ and STL files is what I need. TinkerCad will let you export files in both these file types. Please send me both, and we will print the one that imports best into Cura. Okay, so this sheet will be saved in the same post as this video. And once more, you are required to either create an original or modified TinkerCad file. And good luck. I'll be online if you need me. Send me any designs you've got. Really looking forward to seeing what sort of work you guys can come up with. All right. Good luck, and I'll be in touch with you during the week.